New York Times had a list of all the damage Trump has done a couple, 3 days ago in the Times. And they point out that after 3 years in office, the Trump administration, this gangster group of thugs and demons and liars, has dismantled most of the major climate and environmental policies that Trump promised to destroy once he got into office. He should not be in office. He lost the vote. He lost the popular vote by more than 3 million votes. He should not be in office. We didn't put him in office. His gangster operation, his international gangster operation, which included the Russians and God knows who else, put him in office. We didn't. If you remember, he called the rules unnecessary and burdensome on the fossil fuel industry and other businesses. And because of his fucked up opinion, which is based on nothing but, what is it, his massive gut, his great big bulbous bloated gut. Well, my gut tells me. Your gut doesn't tell you shit, you moron. Well, maybe in your case it does. But his gut told him that these rules were unnecessary and burdensome to the fossil fuel industry and other businesses. So his gangster organization weakened Obama-era limits on planet warming carbon dioxide emissions from power plants and even from cars and trucks, rolled back many more rules governing clean air, clean water, and release of toxic chemicals into the environment. This is Trump. Several major reversals have been finalized in recent weeks as the country has struggled to contain the coronavirus epidemic, and we're all focused on death and disease and how many of our mothers didn't make it to Mother's Day and you know, like that. So, like I mentioned some time ago, maybe last week, tyrants, fascists, filthy gangsters, they wait in the sludge and the slop until the environment they're about to attack, the political environment they're about to attack, suffers through some catastrophic event, whether it's an earthquake or a hurricane or a pandemic, and then they strike, and that's what Trump and his gangsters are doing. Anyway, the New York Times analysis is based on research from Harvard Law School, Columbia Law School, and other sources. And in their evaluation of what this bastard has done, they count more than 60 environmental rules and regulations officially reversed, revoked, or otherwise rolled back under Trump, and an additional 34 rollbacks that further destroy this country are in the process of being finalized even now. And then the Times says this: with elections looming, the administration has sought to wrap up some of its biggest regulatory priorities quickly, said Hannah Vizquera, a staff attorney at Harvard Law School's Environmental and Energy Law program. Further delays could leave the new rules vulnerable to reversal under the Congressional Review Act if Democrats are able to retake Congress and the White House in November. That's about the only hope we have. You do understand that. That's the only hope we have. Now, the bulk of the rollbacks identified by the New York Times and the academic or the branches of academia that assisted them, the bulk of these rollbacks have been carried out by the EPA, which repealed and or replaced Obama-era emissions rules for power plants and vehicles, weakened protections for more than half of the nation's wetlands, withdrew the legal justification for restricting mercury emissions from power plants. Mercury. Do you know what mercury does to the central nervous system of all living creatures, really? It's a heavy metal that destroys the central nervous system. And Trump wants more of it. Trump is the death president if fucking ever one existed. It's this guy. Now, at the same time, the EPA has been ripping to pieces rules and regulations put in place to try to limit the destruction of a gangster like Trump and this predatory capitalism that's destroying this country. At the same time, the Interior Department has been working to open up more land for more exploration for oil and gas, and cutting back on protected areas and limiting wildlife protections. These fuckers are out to destroy everything. Everything. This is where I start to lose it. So be forewarned. I may go berserk during this podcast. Could happen. A spokeswoman for the EPA said in a statement to the Times, you'll love this, quote, "Over the past 3 years, we have fulfilled President Trump's promises to provide certainty for states, tribes, and local governments. Certainty that you're going to fucking get sick, have your life expectancy cut short, you're going to die prematurely because Trump promised." She added that the EPA was, quote, "delivering on President Trump's commitment to return the agency to its core mission, which is providing cleaner air, water, and land to the American people." Can you fucking believe that? See, this is, I'm getting close to the edge. And we're only less than 10 minutes into the podcast. I'm getting close to the edge. Trump's core mission, providing clean air, water, and land to the American people. However, environmental legal groups said the rollbacks have not served that mission. No, sir, that hasn't happened, Miss Spokeswoman for the EPA. It really, really hasn't. According to Ms. Vizcarra, the good person in this story so far, who has tracked environmental rollbacks for Harvard since 2018, she said the agency under Trump, the EPA, has limited its own power to regulate environmental harm, especially when it comes to climate change. In other words, the EPA administrators, the acting administrator, whatever the fuck they have been, and the other ones, Interior Department, Homeland Security, the temporary leaders of all these branches of government, branches of executive power in the government, damn. They've all been told, fuck everything you know about honor, honesty, decency, integrity, ethical behavior, morality. Fuck it all. None of that exists anymore. You do what Mr. Trump tells you to do. Capiche? And they all stand there and go, okay. Many of the rollbacks that this bastard has ordered have been challenged by states, environmental groups, and others. And some of the challenges could remain in the courts until after Trump is legally and peacefully, we hope, removed from office in November. Hillary Aden, who tracks deregulation at Columbia University's Sabin Center for Climate Change Law, said many of the rollbacks had not been adequately justified, leaving them vulnerable to legal challenge if a new government comes in. The New York Times analysis identified 10 rules that were initially reversed or suspended, but later reinstated, often following lawsuits and other challenges. Other rollbacks were rebuffed by the courts, but later revised by the administration and remain in effect. All told, the Trump administration's environmental rollbacks could significantly increase greenhouse gas emissions and lead to thousands, not dozens, not scores, not hundreds, thousands of extra death from poor air quality each year, according to energy and legal analysts. Trump is the murder president. Trump is the murder president. Now, we've had a couple of murder presidents, but this son of a bitch is murdering Americans. I mean, a human life is a human life, whether that life is Dominican or Central American or Vietnamese or Thai or Filipino. A life is a life is a life, right? But there's something about a president of the United States murdering his own fucking people. And we, deep breath, are allowing it. Why?
Hi, Truth Seekers. Kathy Malloy here. During this global crisis, take care of yourselves and your family. Maybe catch up on your Malloy cast. We are 100% Truth Seeker supported, as you know, and over the last year, we've become a lean, mean, two-person broadcasting machine. We've tightened our belts so Mike can keep screaming into the night because we are committed to this fight. We won't surrender the airwaves or our country to the flying monkey fascists as long as you're joining us around the campfire. And by that, I mean supporting this program by funding Resistance Radio on Patreon. Any amount helps keep it lit and keep the lights on in the Malloy home studio. Patron supporters will have exclusive access to a special patron-only weekly broadcast, which will likely include me and possibly Molly. We also have some nice thank you gifts like an exclusive patron Truth Seeker t-shirt. Visit MikeMalloy.com and click on the big patron link on the main page. You can't miss it, and we can't do it without you.